dude. I need to get it together. They think they can do what we do, but do it better. Jive turkeys getting bread and getting cheddar. Don't get sandwiched by a real competitor. Let them up, I'm getting better. No time to be fed up. Go get us for false profits. Get stoned like Rosetta. I'm just getting started. Sorry, I can't let up. And even if I could, I wouldn't, cause it's a setup for the next line. Wait in line for the next time. My intellect's fine when I find that nothing's really mine.
Do whatever it takes to get better. Do whatever it takes to get better. Do whatever it takes to get better. I am better. I am whatever.
Welcome to the Starting Over podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of HeroClix. Woo! Man, it rained here in Kansas City, and I am happy because outside is tolerable. I think it's like an 80-something, so that's great compared to 90 and 100-something weather that you had to deal with the previous weeks. And for those who don't know, I'm no longer unemployed, which is a great thing, but I do work a part-time job as a security guard for a senior community. Which is sort of cool. You get to talk with older people, and they have some crazy stories, and they do some crazy things like getting snookered, and you have to help them up. So anyway, having to walk around outside in the heat has created very interesting scenarios for my clothing, because I can like sweat through a undershirt in a shirt, and at times, depending on the situations, maybe even a pair of pants. Yeah, that's it. It gets hot because the brother's walking around outside. So yeah, I'm just glad it's cooler. So you might be saying, Dark Logos, after that too much information intro, what are we going to talk about today? Well, my friends, we're going to talk about two things. One, and this is going to be real briefly, the future of the podcast, and two, the Justice League set that has been graciously spoiled. So if you don't want to hear about the Justice League set quite yet, you want to come back later, yay. If you want to go ahead and listen, yay. Either way, it's up to you. All right, just letting you know. This podcast will continue. I'm not, canceling or doing anything like that. But the rules on AC Realms is changing for podcasters. It's still under development in talks. So some of you might have noticed I haven't posted stuff up there. That's part of the reason why. Another thing is I do stuff for HeroClixWorld.com. And so I have a brand, I hate using that word, that's between multiple sites. So what's going to happen is I'm going to create content specifically for AC Realms, and you're going to see content specifically for HeroClix World, and this is going to stay the same. But I am going to try to make a new show for AC Realms. I don't know what it's going to be called. So PM me ideas. I mainly just want to, sort of treat it like the nightly news or like a weekly news show, and maybe talk some tactics. Maybe look at some odd figures here and there. The idea of the name of Shelton's Shenanigans did sound interesting in my head, but I don't think that it tests well within marketing firms and test groups. So if you have ideas, email me at, I was about to say my personal email for a moment. No. startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. So, tell me what you want to see in those shows that's not here. I will say it will be like a 15-minute, maybe 30-minute show at max. So probably like 2 things I'm going to talk about, maybe 3 pushing it. So if you people who email me and tell me what they're looking for, you know, big ups to you. And that helps me out a lot because I've been freaking out. Now note, I will also say that nothing's in stone yet. So since nothing's in stone, there's no guarantee that this will go through or won't. It's up to a bunch of different people. And I don't want you to go and like PM typing like, yeah, you need to pick up Dark Logos for your stuff. Don't do that. There's a whole lot of other things that are going on. So I'm just letting you know on that. All right. Now to the meat, the big T-bone steak porterhouse rump roast of the podcast. We're going to talk about some Justice League New 52. I will say this, and I'm going to give you fair warning. It is not shaping up to be too good. Now, I'm saying this in light of everything else that we've released, and it seems that DC, this is not your year to be overpowered. It's not your year. You guys rebooted, and you're not broke for your cheap points. So, I hate to use the phrase "make mine Marvel," but that's the way it's sort of shaping up for this year. Hopefully, you might get DC fans. Y'all might get lucky and get some Fast Forces. That's awesome, or something for Christmas. I don't know. But as it stands now, yeah, y'all, this is not the best thing that you can play. Okay, so let's sort of break down why. All right, I'm gonna start looking at Superman. I'll let you know this is spoiled if I didn't really indicate that before. So you could go to AC Realms and see it now. So let's crack at it. Superman 6 range, first piece on the set. Charge, 12 movement, yay. 11 attack, yay. Indomitable, yay. Justice League and Superman team ability. Ooh, man, that's really inflating your points right there. But okay, I can sort of say yay. Okay. But here's my problem with Superman. You have 3 clicks of charge up front and 3 clicks of hypersonic speed in the back. You have hypersonic speed when you don't really, it doesn't matter. Your numbers are too low. Unless you've been beating the fire out of your opponent all game, your numbers are too low. Now, at 204 points, this Superman does something that I haven't seen a Superman do in a long time. And technically, he has 7 clicks of impervious. And he's 9 clicks long. So he's a little bit longer than your average Superman that you've been getting by at least 1. Maybe 2. Okay, so that's sort of an added bonus. But you're really paying out the nose for Superman team ability and Justice League team ability and all that impervious. And then you also get that helping people is what I do. You like my Superman voice there? Superman can use impervious when a friendly character within 4 squares in line of fire takes damage from an opponent's attack. They have to take the damage. Superman isn't taking the damage for them. After actions resolve, you may place Superman in that character in each other's squares. This power can't be countered by characters less than 100 points. Now, what's sort of cool is if Superman is, let's say, carrying Donald Blake the entire time, and the secondary attacker gets shot and hit and taken, a lot of damage, and as long as they stay within reasonable space of each other, you can use this little swap thing real conveniently. Because it's like, bloop, bloop, I put you right by the medic, and you can't get forced down. You can't get focus fire down. So it makes focus fire a lot harder. Okay. Another thing is you can't use poison and trigger off of somebody using poison and do like, I'm Superman, or someone's Mystics, and you're like, I'm Superman. You can't do that. So that's something that you have to sort of like keep in mind. But overall, his numbers up front are not bad, and he's averaging probably around like a 9.5, maybe even a 9.8, which is, again, not that bad. But the problem is that he gets really baller powers at the end. His mid-dial is okay, and it doesn't have any move and attack, and it just like leaves him hanging in a very, very bad situation. Now, the Gale Force Breath is okay. Superman can use Force Blast. When he does, he may target an adjacent character and up to 2 characters that are adjacent to that character after actions resolve. Give the targeted characters an action token if they have 0 action tokens. So you get like a free knockback in cap, which can be good if you're dealing with somebody with, you know, Force Blast or something. I mean, sorry, not with Force Blast, with Energy Shield Deflection. But here's the thing. Would you rather have that or Charge? Would you rather have that or Hypersonic Speed? And here's sort of the worst part. On those clicks, you get Close Combat Expert people. Why am I, unless they, you know, you put up a barrier wall so you can Force Blast somebody, or, you know, really, I gotta say, there's really no legit reason unless their defense is way too high. But you have a 11 attack, then a 10 attack, and then, okay, the 9 attack, I can understand that. But you have 3 damage and Close Combat Expert. So, anyway, that's sort of disappointing. He does trail down. So, Superman is not your rallying figure. Okay, moving on. Batman, because we didn't have enough. Batman. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He starts off with 3 clicks of charge, which is awesome. He has 5 range, which is nominal. 11 attacks starting off, which is pretty good considering, you know, some of the other silliness that you can do with figures from the Batman set. 17 defense. He's 7 clicks deep for 119 points. That's not bad either. He does get elite climb trait, and he also gets toughness, combat reflexes, special power on defense. He gets outwit starting off, which is sort of okay. They did make it so that Batman can outwit Superman, if you sort of look at that. But really, the rest of the dial is sort of meh. You know, I really don't think this is like the best Batman that you can get. But him and some Lieutenant Gordon going to be fun. It's going to be really good fun. So, good for your Gotham teams. Not so much good for your Justice League teams, because if you're able to play Golden Age, Out of the Shadows Batman is still the best Batman ever. So, I know that's sort of sad too, that after all this time, like, the best of affordable Batman is Out of the Shadows Batman. And then probably the next best one after that is even older, which is the Legacy Vet Batman. And you can have a really good case for the Experience one, but really look at like Legacy Batman and just laugh of how broken he is. And if you're able to like to remake him for the exact same points in this meta, how broken he would be. Anyway, Wonder Woman. Not your best Wonder Woman for your points. And I really have to say, the flying brick that she is sort of displayed moderately in this. And she gets some Close Combat Expert. But again, we know Close Combat Expert don't work with charge. You know, that don't help you at all. She gets some flurry. Now, the one thing I will say that allows her to somewhat be a little bit redeemable is the mid-dial flurry. But you're also looking at having TK. You got to have TK on her team when you field her, because otherwise she's not getting anywhere fast. Her movement values aren't real high. They're average. She has the Lasso of Truth. Give Wonder Woman a power action. Wonder Woman may make a ranged combat attack that deals no damage as if she had a range value of 4. Give a hit character an action token and counter all speed and damage powers a hit character possesses until your next turn. You get this with Flurry. That's really it. You get it with Flurry. So unless you're based with 2 figures, the second application really doesn't do you any good. So, actually, you know what? Take that back. This is a ranged attack. So, yeah, it doesn't work with Flurry. So, yeah. Yeah, that's sort of a waste. Yeah, don't waste your time on her. Trade her. Moving on. Green Lantern. This is, I believe, Alan. Now I don't read Earth 2. Is this new Alan or is this old Alan? Someone let me know. I don't know which Alan it is. So anyway, because the costume looked like old Alan. So anyway, so you got green constructs. Green Lantern can use barrier, incapacitate, and telekinesis, which is sort of cool. Then he also has ineffective against yellow. Green Lantern modifies his attack and damage values by -1 when attacking a character displaying a yellow power in their dial. That's sort of cool. You have to admit that is sort of cool. Now it doesn't help you against the gauntlet because you know it has to be displayed. But well, actually, it does help you get against the gauntlet because you're the one that's receiving the -1. Sorry, I had some things reversed. So if someone pits, you know, Force Blast or Pulse Wave or something like that, you know, that could be an issue. The thing is, you have to be really, really mindful about who you're attacking with him because of that trait. But other than that, you're not going to be targeting people with, you know, I hate to say it like this, that's using defend, that has defend. That's going to be your main problem. And maybe Pulse Wave. Support and phasing, not so much. And then it's also sort of hilarious that if you have two Green Lantern Alan Scotts that face each other, or is that Alan Scott or is that Green Lantern? It sort of sucks when they don't name them properly. Or am I thinking about... No, this... oh, okay. I apologize. I'm thinking about 10th anniversary. My fault. My fault. Okay. This is Hal. So, anyway. Yeah. So, overall, this is interesting that if you get two Green Lanterns facing each other on their last click, then they really can't hurt each other because their damage would be 1. So, a little hilarity. Moving on. Oh, really? This Green Lantern, with the way the meta is now, at 72 points to get TK, barrier, and a solid attacker, it's worth considering. He's actually probably viable for how cheap he is. Also for a taxi, he's, you know, it doesn't count against your actions. The 10 attack is okay. His mid dial is okay. His late dial is bleh. But you're paying 72 points. So, you know, take it how it is. Next up is Aquaman. Aquaman is sort of not that great. Yeah. I'm not going to go into him. His price is inflated by leadership, and having charge for that many clicks is good, but he's really not. He's only capitalizing on charge for 2 clicks, in my opinion. The charge blades, that's questionable for me. So, anyway, moving on to Cyborg. The Beast, man. And I mean that in a good way. This dude is monstrous. Running shot, pulse wave, 100, 6 range, 3 damage, indomitable. Get some poison in there. Get some exploit weakness in there. Get some regen in there. Yes, please. Give me that. Your Teen Titans team has been waiting for this Cyborg for years. Bring it. Bring him here. Also, I need him for my African American History Month team. So, yeah. So he is on my definitely buy list, or definitely trade for list. So definitely get him. Get him now. Get him in the chopper. All right, moving on from pathetic internet memes to Green Arrow. He's moderate. I still have a soft spot for the other Green Arrow, just for the fact that he does the range game better, and in my opinion, he does the damage game better. But This one is good for a upfront attacker, and here's why. Best shot in the biz, his trait. Green arrow modifies his attack by +2 when targeting a single character within 5 squares with a single combat attack. This means that once he goes after one person, on his first click, he has a 13. On his last click, he has an 11. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because yes, you can do a running shot or range combat expert. You have that willpower on that first click, and only having on that one click does sort of suck, but you do have 3 clicks of running shot. The problem I see is he is a glass cannon, and for him to get that close, to get that bonus, you have to pack barrier. You have to be mindful that he's going to get Ralphed, and the damage that you do has to be like worth it. You have to kill something, because the retaliation is going to be massive. So this is in my questionable pile. Now, him and 2 or 3 Bruce Banners is going to be ridiculous, because that energy explosion in Sharpshooter allows you to play a game of brutality that is unmatched currently in the meta. So for those people who don't really see that, you can surprise them and just piss them off. For my old school people, remember Havoc and 3 U-Men? There you go. Okay, so moving on. Mira. Mira is okay. She gets Aquanesis, which is Mira can use telekinesis. If Mira uses telekinesis to place an opposing character that currently occupies water terrain, modify her attack value by +3. That could be sort of cool, but most likely not going to happen. Sorceress of the Deep. Mira may target opposing characters within 6 squares that occupy or are adjacent to water terrain with close combat attacks. Sort of okay, but you have 2 damage. So yeah, not that great. But for your Atlantis teams, if you're an Atlantis player, there you go. That is awesome. I don't see how she's on the Justice League, but again, I haven't read Justice League in probably about 4 or 5 months. Maybe even longer. The last thing I remember was they beat up Darkseid. So it's been a while. Firestorm A. I'll call him Firestorm A, because anything else I could say wouldn't be politically correct. Even though I'm really not politically correct, so that's... Anyway. Firestorm A is sort of weak. He starts off with his best attack. Well, one of his best attack clicks, he has phasing. I mean, he doesn't really get a benefit from phasing, and he does have a merge ability for him to merge with the other Firestorm, but it's not that good. Disable your weaponry, the special power that he has up front. Firestorm can use probability control. Ooh, that sounds good. Once per turn when he is attacked. Oh. When he does, okay, if he rerolled the attack, if the reroll attack is a critical hit, oh. He may use probability control one more time. Oh. So, pretty much, it says, when you attack me, and I'm using Firestorm, then I can use probability control. But when I need it, I can't use it. And only if you crit hit me, I get to say, use probability control again and make you re-roll it. That's sort of worthless. The chances of you betting on that regularly is astronomically low in your favor. Not worth playing. Not worth playing. And I'm going to get even further of why it's not worth playing at all. Okay? Next up is Firestorm B. Dang it, come to think of it, that didn't help me any at all, because that could still be considered a little racist. Anyway, there's Firestorm B. This dude is baller. This dude I actually like. And this really does seem very racist now for me to say that. But I like him for the content of his dial, not for the color of his skin. Okay, there we go. I've had my Martin Luther King moment. But Firestorm B is baller for the following reasons. He has a 12-move running shot with 7 range. You have a 12 movement. Your running shot is 6. In a game, in a meta where the average running shot movement is 4, your range is 7, which is good now. Okay, so that puts you at a swing of 13. Okay, and just sort of get you sort of back into sphere of a 13 swing. I think the last swing that's around a 13 that I remember was White Lantern Flash. Now note, he had like a 14 movement, 8 range. So let's say zip in, zip back. Yeah, if you zip in and zip back immediately at half movement, yeah. So White Lantern Flash's swing is, and then math decides to escape my brain at that moment. Wow, that's sort of sad. And it's simple math, too. It's like 7 plus 4, so it's 11. Okay, there we go. So he has an 11 swing if he goes back to where he started from. I know you could extend that. If you really want to say it, he has, if you move White Lantern Flash to his full movement on his first click, he technically has like an 18 swing. But going back to Firestorm B, when's the last time you've seen a 12-move running shot? It's been a while. Definitely since, yeah, I'll just not lie. It's been a while. And definitely not on a figure that's like under 200, really under 150. So there's that. And then he says, follow up, guess what? If I don't need the running shot, I can blast you in the face with Ranged Combat Expert. And I got a 19 defense, so I'm going to sit on some hindering terrain. Firestorm, bring in the pain. Then he goes on to Perplex, so he can still just be running around doing running shot at 10 attack and 3 damage. Then he gets running shot again on click 3. And then he gets hypersonic speed for 2 clicks. Oh my gosh, this dude is awesome. Then he turns into a pure support piece at the end. I'm sorry, this is just beautiful. He doesn't need the Firestorm and the other Firestorm guy at all. He's like just great. He's great by himself. He is on the must-buy list. Okay, and he's got Justice League keywords. So I guess he eventually joins up or something. I don't know. Moving on to Hawkman. For those people who don't know, Hawkman really, by himself, hasn't really seriously appeared since Origin. And the Origin version was a beast. The Vet Origin version was the beast. He could just come in and just like Talon Claw your face. Just grab it. You know, and do massive damage. And he was actually scary. This one is a lot more tactical to play. Now, for some reason, WizKids decided that Close Combat Expert was going to be the power to display for this set. I don't know why. Okay, so we look at Hawkman. He has Dive Bomb. Where does this sound familiar, classic players? Yeah, old feats turning into special powers. Hawkman can use Charge. When Hawkman uses Charge, modifies his attack and damage value by +1 if he makes an attack targeting a character at a lower elevation than the square in which Hawkman began his movement. There's like I forgot what the map is. It has like 4 or 5 elevations on it. It's not the lava one. I think it's on the other side of the Hammer of Thor map. I don't know. You know, he's cool there. There's a couple of maps that he's actually good. Blue Side of the Moon, he's really good on because he can charge from one elevation if someone gets too close and then charge down to the lower elevation again. And just sort of gives scope on this. On click 2, if he was to use his power to the fullest, he would have a 12 attack and 4 damage and no super strength. So that's pretty good. He doesn't get damage reduction until mid to late dials, so that's sort of not that awesome. Definitely when you have all that close combat expert loaded up and you're a charge figure. Hopefully this is what's making him cheap. He's also indomitable and flies. Justice League TA, I would just say if you don't want to play Superman and you don't want to play that crappy Wonder Woman, play Hawkman. Yeah, that's the best way of putting it. Next up is Shade the Changing Man, coming in at variable dials, which is sort of cool. Let's look at the dial A. The dial A, he has Join Me in My Madness. Okay. Shade the Changing Man can use Perplex and Shape Change. At 55 points previously, if it wasn't for the Chaos War Fast Forces, I would have said, you know what, you're getting a great deal, you're getting Barrier, you're getting Perplex. That's awesome starting off. Scarlet Witch was just like, I just outdo that. I do 2 snaps and a twist, and I get Prop, Perplex, and I get Barrier. What now? Nothing he could say. Now, you do have a slight advantage, because he does technically on this click have full dial shape change, which makes him a bit more survivable. You are paying that 5 more points. His 4 range is sort of crap, but he does, when he doesn't have Barrier, he does get Smoke Cloud. So you do have some leverage there, and then, you know, with him in shape change, it's nice. His second dial is the M-Vest dial. M-Vest. It sounds like Invest, but when you say it, but it's M-Vest. Shade, the Changing Man, can use Energy Shield Deflection and Toughness. Now, no. He starts off with Perplex, and then he gets Perplex on his last click, and he gets Phasing. Now, all of this would be, like, great if he had a better range. If he had a better range, he could be aggressive, and I could sort of see, like, okay, there's a reason why I would pick this dial over Scarlet Witch. But really, there's not. There's no reason. That 10 attack is worthless on him. That 2 damage is worthless on him because of that 4 range on him. So you end up playing, hello, I'm Shade the Changing Man. You know, a worse mystic than my, you know, cross-universe counterpart. You know, so, anyway. Shade the Changing Man, not worth getting. Now, I'll make an addendum. I'll make an addendum for some people. Justice League now, in modern age, is a different beast than Justice League Golden Age. Or even, you know, Justice League, let's say about a year and a half ago. Okay, that's fair. Isn't that fair? I think that's fair. And the main reason I say that is when we start looking at cost per click, most Justice League figures are coming in at like over 100 points, like guaranteed. And so by having someone like Shade the Changing Man, he makes it so you can play a reasonably close Justice League team, or better yet, I don't even know what comic he's coming from, so the comic accurate people, I feel sorry for you, because like if he's, I'm assuming he's probably like Justice League Dark or something. So when you read Shade, when you use Shade the Changing Man, you can use him, you know, teamed up with a couple other mild point figures so that you have a theme team. Or you could team him up with like Superman, so you have a theme team. But other than that, you know, he's not worth using. He is filler for your Justice League team. He's like Mockingbird. There you go. All right, moving on to Deadman. This is like what all Deadmans in the past should have been, except for the White Lantern Deadman. This cheap, and I'm glad they didn't do the possession power, because if they did, I would have been so mad, because that would just be a waste. 52 points, mind control, 11 attack means he's probably going to hit. He has a trait that allows him to use phasing teleport, but he can't be carried and he can't be placed by TK, which is, only way it could be better if he had a power called Chills, in which he gives poison. That would be awesome. Damage dealt by Daemon by close combat attack is reduced to 1. Well, here's another problem. What happens when I shoot you from range? Oh yes, you die. Now note, the 2 clicks of regen I do think is great, because it pretty much says that, you know, on your off turn you can regen back and you don't need much, and you can get back to top dial or to an unreasonable click and then just mind control again. So I don't really know how to say it. He's a mind control battery. Yeah, that's the best way of saying it. He's a mind control battery. He can perpetually mind control the entire time if he never gets shot, because he just regens back up. Maybe he's a new candidate for a partial gauntlet. You know, get some extra movement in there with the space gem and prob with the probability gem, because he has like phasing. And, you know, he could TK others but cannot TK himself. Oh gosh, this is just getting bad. Moving on. Zatanna, bringing magic to your life. But does she bring magic to the game? No, she don't. She don't. 6 range, Psychic Blast, Super Senses, Perplex. She's not as good as Justice League, old Justice League Zatanna, if you know what I mean. Old Justice League Zatanna could just be annoying. Now, you have the special power, not even going to attempt to try to say the name. Gives Zatanna a power action or a free action if she has no action tokens. And choose another friendly character within 4 squares. And line of fire, that character can't be affected by Outwit or Perplex until your next turn. So if she has no action tokens, you don't even have to add action tokens on. Okay, now note how silly this is. I can just have her sit around there and just like, you know, Superman can't be outwitted. You know, like, yeah, you can't outwit him. Now, the one thing that does suck is that the person can't be affected by Perplex. Now, you can also do this to your opponent, in which they can't be affected by Perplex either. So some teams, this can be sort of useful, because you can use that special power against them and like, well, your team is that guy with 5 Perplexers, so yeah, I'm going to use this power on you. Boom. You have no Perplexers. It's Ghetto Outsiders is what it is. Well, let me take that back. It's not Ghetto Outsiders. It is modified Outsiders to include Outwit, and does it include powers? There you go. Is she worth picking up? Not really. You have better support people. And as a secondary attacker, she's sort of weak. Now, if you want a wild card abuse, then yeah, you wanna pick her up. Definitely for mystical teams, and teaming her up with a Doctor Doom, a Morgan Le Fay, maybe even a Spider-Man or 2. But yeah, definitely wild card abuse. She's worth it. You can't really get those 2 team abilities together for real cheap. Yeah, 90 points is moderate. And then she also does some support. So yeah, wild card abuse, yay, get her. Not wild card abuse, meh, you know, pass on by. Next up is Mind Warp. This is sort of funny because he's 45 points in prob. But he has Time Slide, which is sort of cool. Time Slide. Mind Warp can use Super Senses. Once per turn when Mind Warp has no action tokens, if he can draw a line of fire to both the both the target of an attack and the attacker, the target may use Super Senses if it's a friendly character. If the target evades the attack by the use of Super Senses, place Mind Warp in the square adjacent to the target. This can mess up like range games so bad. Oh gosh, it could definitely mess up range games so bad when you have figures that are dependent on RC and don't have sharpshooter. So, you know, that could be really, really, really good. And I will say something, backtracking real quick to, you know what, yeah, backtracking to Green Arrow. He can use that range combat expert even in close combat because of sharpshooter. So just, you know, that does add a little bit of value, but I don't think it adds enough to sort of say like, yeah, get him now. You know, so anyway, moving on. Enchantress coming in at a rainbow dial and bringing us multiple point values. Okay, so at 250 points, there is this weird world that this figure operates in. And for me, I will be honest, I don't fully understand that world. Okay, now I don't want you to be confused here. And let me break down why I say that. Her two targets, awesome. 8 range, better than most people so far in the set. Okay, the shape change, awesome. The prob, awesome. The damage reduction and special powers, awesome. The starting charge is confusing me because I don't see why she's going to try to charge anybody. But let's just go through her real quick, through her powers. Defeating the Justice League. Enchantress modifies her attack and damage values by +1 when attacking a character with the Justice League keyword. You know, if you did play like a fun sealed game in this set, yeah, you need to like ban her immediately because she has like a 12 attack and you have a few 18s, no base 19s, so or higher. So yeah, you definitely want to ban her real quick. Anyway, Storm of Witch's Teeth. Enchantress can use poison. Yeah, that's pretty good. In Quake, it somewhat helps with the charge. When she uses either one, all squares within a range of 2 squares in line of fire are considered adjacent, and damage dealt cannot be reduced below 1. So, I mean, the charge does sort of help, and it does sort of extend the Quake charge radius. But it's still sort of, if you think about it, she does 4 damage. Which would you rather do? You know, hit the guy for 4, you know, maybe Quake and do a guaranteed 1. Now I know situations dictate. So next is for a force not to be trifled with. Enchantress can use invulnerability and willpower. Now, for her to have invulnerability and willpower and hypersonic speed is sort of amusing. For her to have hypersonic speed in Storm of Witch's Teeth is a waste of a special power. But that's, anyway. And so she moves on to hypersonic speed and psychic blast, which is, again, a bad power combo. And then she goes into running shot, psychic blast, prob. So that's like, yes, all right, great. Mid-dial regen, that can be useful mainly because of the following. What is the average base damage of your running shot pulse waiver in the meta right now? They're mainly landing around 4 to 5 damage. They're not doing much more than that. Only if like the gauntlet is on Godhood are they doing more than that. Okay? And I'm talking about after Perplex and any other modifier thing that they do. They're mostly landing around 5. Maybe 6. But mainly around 5. So you're looking at regen rolls with prob. So that's real good right there. So I definitely have to say that mid-dial, 2 clicks of regen, definitely a bonus. Now we sort of go into the late dial, and this is where we look at her other click value. And so I'm going to sort of comment on both the other click value in this one. As part of the 250 points, once she gets towards the end, I hate to say it, she's ridiculous until Scarlet Witch came out. She could take one more hit than Scarlet Witch, and that's about it when it comes to advantages. Also, and also she has super senses, so she has a higher chance of staying alive. And then also, Enchantress can hit back. She starts her dial off, you know, at the 250 dial. She's still a threat on click 8. Click 9, yeah. Click 10 and 11, no. But you have 11 clicks, and you don't see that too often anymore with 11 clicks. Anyway, going back with Enchantress, super senses on clicks 8 and 9. Energy shield on 10 and 11, meh. Stealth on click 9, I think, is where the game changes with her, because now she's hiding, and now if you set her up properly, at a 250 point, she's awesome. At a if you're using her as support, you're using her as a psychic blast sniper. Just keep that nice little shield agent right next to her as she sucks his soul out to, you know, blast Sentry and Void, because that's pretty much what she will do best. And I'm going to try to put this a little bit better into context. In the early game, she wants to push the TK everything out, and yeah, she can be carried, so that's a nice little bonus. But once you're past the early game, her value drops with TK because she has that 3 base damage. What else is she going to do? You know, you can say, well, you can still move things around, but if you have a ranged team and your game plan is around range, then guess what? You most likely don't need the TK. So her shifting over to the next click, to your technically second click, if you pay her on her second half of her dial, it's perfect. You still have prop, you still have super senses, you still have a high attack. So this is my, like, yeah, go get this. Go get this. Now again, that 250 world, little confusing for me about how you're going to play that off seriously most time. That 50 points is money. You have a better range than Scarlet Witch. You have better attack than Scarlet Witch. You have one more click than Scarlet Witch. You have super senses. Yes, Scarlet Witch did drop the value of her stock greatly, but she's still good. All right. Moving on to the Flash. Oh, gosh, this thing makes me cry with joy. So much joy. You must get this. Now, you might want to say why. Let's look at them. Oh gosh, it's just giddiness, and you can just tell listening to me. I'm like, oh man, broke stuff's about to happen. Broke stuff's about to happen, people. Okay, so the Speed Force, movement power. The Flash can use hypersonic speed. He may use it normally, or instead, his damage value becomes 1 and is locked. If you do, he may make up to 3 close combat attacks instead of 1 against different opposing characters during his move. The Flash may continue moving between attacks. Okay, this is really good because it brings back old hypersonic speed. I think it was option 2. Okay. But moving on, yoo-hoo, over here, the Flash can use super senses. When the Flash evades an attack using super senses, you may immediately move him 1 square. Okay, now let me sort of bring this all together of why I'm so giddy. 88 points, Justice League team ability, Central City and Justice League keywords. Okay, when's the last time we've had a Flash this cheap? I think it was like Flash 1 million. 2 base damage in entire dial. Hypersonic speed, technically for 5 clicks. He has his get up and get away power with hypersonic speed for 2 clicks. If he is based and you do get your super senses with that yoo-hoo over here, you would have to still break away. But otherwise, as long as he has that hypersonic speed power, he doesn't. 7 clicks, 88 points. So you're paying about like 11.2 something per click. But you're having 3 upfront clicks of 10 attack. You can perplex his damage up to, you know, a 3, a 4, a 5 really easily. You have a long movement. You have a reasonably deep dial. It's going to take like 2 to 3 hits from him. I mean, to him to that's going to, you know, be an issue. You know, so it's he could take some damage is what I'm getting at before he goes down. He says to the team that plays, when you play him, and again, my giddiness is coming out, you can play him, and you can play him in the same way that people used to play, and I know folks are like saying I'm stretching it, Origins Shazam. Just bear with me. He's a lot cheaper than Origin Shazam, but once you start adding in some Perplex, once you start adding in a little Prob, he becomes a monster. He can be a Gen Con next year. And I think a lot of people are going to forget about him between now and then, but he will be meta. So he is on the buy list. Buy. If he was stock, he would be awesome. He would be awesome stock. Maybe some chicken stock, maybe a little bit of beef stock too, but definitely awesome stock. Double entendre, ba-dum-bum. Okay, moving on to Madame Zandu. Madame Zandu, fortune telling. Madame Zandu, give Madame Zandu a power action and choose an adjacent character. When that character misses with an attack this turn after action is resolved, you may remove 1 action token from that character. So the one thing I do like about this is it gives insurance to your big attackers. It also opens up a whole world of shenanigans that WizKids did not think of. Here is why. I am about to explain to you why Madame Zandu is probably going to be in large point games, and if we get more of certain things, in a 300-point game. By having this power in Perplex, and then also getting this power in Probability Control, the following can happen. I multi-attack with my Colossal Galactus. Okay? Or let's be more honest with how I roll with the meta. With my Master Mode, son! Master Mode with a full gauntlet. Okay? Master Mode, full gauntlet. Ballerness has ensued. Okay? I multi-attack. I hit with my first attack, and I miss with my second attack. Because I miss with an attack this turn, I can have that token taken off of me. Okay? I want you to get why that's powerful. So I have multi-attack and just sort of trying to get all this together. And me missing is a great thing because now I have been able to say, like, I remove the action token. This goes with Sentry Void. This goes with Galactus and Tester and whoever else you want to do in shenanigans. Anyway, so the other thing that may have eluded a lot of game developers' minds and a lot of other individuals' minds, because I really haven't seen this commented, is these wonderful things called Toys R Us Sentinels. And they're beautiful because they say whenever a robot attacks and makes attacks and does damage, that they get to attack for free. Or the other one does a token or something like that. I forgot. It's been a while since I've used the end cap one. But I do know there's the one that allows you to attack for free. So, you have a couple of them, and they miss. Oh, guess what? Tokens have been popping off, son. They're gone. Okay, as long as they're next to Madame Zendu. So I don't think that people will get how broke she is until it's too late. In big game, she's ridiculous. Because once you combine two Colossals and multi-attack with her, then yeah, it's going to be like GG. Because the ability to go every turn and just like miss your first multi-attack and be fine with it, knowing that you can prob your second multi-attack, how many times, and land that hit, and knowing that you won't take a token. Yeah, just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. I'm glad she is unique, so that is one advantage. So going on to oh yeah, so get Madame Zendu. That is definitely on the buy list. On the buy list. Okay. Moving on to John Constantine. John Constantine is a wild card through his trait, plus Mystics, 59 points. Armadeus Cho. Oops, sorry, that came out wrong. He's DC's Armadeus Cho. So instead of having outwit in prop special power, he just says you can't use prop because I'm here. Now that can be outwitted, but it is sort of funny that he gets willpower, 9 attack, which is sort of is pointless. 2 damage, again, sort of pointless. And he's like, yo, you can't use prop, son. I would have preferred it that his trait was other characters can't use prop versus that special power. But things are as they are. Next, he has his other special power when he doesn't have prop. Is John Constantine can use Outwit and Perplex. Now, thinking about it, you have to ask yourself, do I, A, not want my opponents to have prop while I have prop? This includes Theme Team prop. Anything that's named probability control. Now, if there is a power that says you may re-roll, that is not probability control. Okay? So just letting you know that. Going on to the sheer cutting, having Outwit and Perplex, for those people that play Golden Age in full feat goodness, he's a little bit broken for Brilliant Tactician, for how little you are investing for Brilliant Tactician. For those who do know about how much you normally do pay for Brilliant Tactician, for a decent Brilliant Tactician in Golden Age, he comes in really, really cheap for Mystical. I don't think you have anybody as good as him and for Brilliant Tactician till you go like way back. Yeah. Anyway, overall solid piece. He is on the buy click. Definitely buy him. I will also say, if you can't get him, don't cry. Don't be frustrated. Don't spend $15 on him. He's not that good. But I do think he has that ability to make some games really, really frustrating for your opponent. Definitely in games in which you're required to bring theme teams. He's going to piss people off so bad. So bad. Going on to Deathstroke. Why does Deathstroke always start with stealth and outwit? That is a little frustrating. I wish he started with charge or running shot or something. But he starts with stealth, so I can't really say anything about that. He starts off, he has one special power, and that is precisely timed strike. Deathstroke can use Blaze Claw's Fangs. That's nice. After any action resolves, if during that action an opposing character moved into a square adjacent to Deathstroke, that includes a hypersonic speeder, that includes someone that has magical charge, or whatever. move into a square adjacent to Deathstroke, roll a d6. Now note, this is before they do whatever action they do. Okay, it triggers once they move into the square. Deal that character damage equal to the result. So technically, it doesn't matter if they have phasing, leap climb, hypersonic speed, magical special powers, or they're just plain cheating. The moment that character crosses Deathstroke, adjacency to Deathstroke, it's on. Now, I want to point out, for people that might not realize this, let's say the figure breaks away from Deathstroke and moves to another square that's adjacent to Deathstroke, or has to move through several squares adjacent to Deathstroke. He can go off for each square. Okay, because let's read this again. Deathstroke can use Blaze Claw's Fangs after any action resolves. Okay, well, I'll tell you. Let me rephrase that. So it's not during it, but let's say, yeah, well, okay, so it wouldn't be during before the action, so it would be after action resolves. So I have to take all that back. It's sort of weird because you're giving two timings in the power. After the action is resolved, and then also during the move, the point of movement. But him being able to sort of say, okay, let's say we have a grounded figure. They move away. They break away from Deathstroke, and they go do something. Then they are picked up and carried, and that being carried, and they get placed, adjacent to Deathstroke. Well, actually, you know what? Being placed might actually get past that, because it says move, not placed. So yeah. So technically, you can get TK'd or placed. And it won't trigger Deathstrokes, these things that we figure out in the midst of a podcast. But, it's just like that one Red Hulk's poison. If they cross by his square, they're going to take one if they qualify. So, but moving on to, more important things like what he actually does. At 120 points in Indomitable, and his average click damage, probably like a 2.4 maybe. Yeah, probably somewhere around there. He's not bad. The only thing I sort of wish is that he had his exploit weakness at the beginning. Maybe click 2. Well, let me take that back. He has Psyblast, so he doesn't really need that. But they pretty much make him so that just about the whole dial he can do either his base damage, his printed damage, or he can do more than his printed damage. So it has its advantages. Sort of wish he had charged instead of stealth at first click. I really get tired of Deathstroke being this like stealth guy, but oh well. Is he on the buy list? Unfortunately, no. And the main reason he is not on the buy list is, well, first off, for 120 points nowadays, you can get a lot better than him. Yeah. The second thing is his defense overall. He doesn't have anything else that sort of keeps him afloat than toughness. Lastly, he has two wonderful... Well, I'll say, let me rephrase that. He has 4 magical clicks, because I was going to undersell him a little bit, but I can't really. He has 4 magical clicks. The first 2 is clicks 2 and 3, and the last 2 are clicks of 6 and 8. Those 2 clicks are beautiful. I mean, those 4 clicks are beautiful. The rest of the dial is rough. Like, you're going to have some tough times, and you're going to need other figures to help you out. So, not so much a fan of him. Lastly is Fury from the Justice League 52 set. And there is a Fast Forces, and I am going to talk about that. Oh gosh, this dude hurts in a bad way, not in a Michael Jackson I'm bad way, as in you found out that you got hit by your dog got hit by a car a bad way. Okay, 200-point quintessence figure, and you're like, oh man, it might be awesome. He has 8 clicks at 200 points. That's bad. Okay, and you know, he's like, well, what about Stranger and what about this? Those figures have a lot more going for them than Fury. Okay, Fury can split, and that can be sort of nice into the, you know, the 2 other Firestorms, and it is required that, you know, you have one of the Firestorm A and the other of Firestorm B. Okay, but when you start looking at the special powers, you're asking yourself the following: A, why did I ever merge into this piece of crap? B, why did I even think about playing this as my primary figures, knowing that eventually I would have to split into into making Firestorm B worse than what he is, and pretty much making Firestorm A complete crap. Okay, and lastly, was these special powers worth it? And most likely the answer is no. So let's look at release energy. Fury can use Pulse Wave and Poison. You have no running shot. Your Pulse Wave range is 4. You're a giant. You can't be TK'd. Yeah, that is not fun. That is not awesome. You can't get in position and you're 200 points. Why am I playing you? Oh, but wait a moment. He has Range Combat Expert. Okay, I have Range Combat Expert at 4 damage with, you know, I can hit somebody for 6, or I can Pulse Wave somebody for 4 if they're close enough. But which one would I rather do? I'd rather Range Combat Expert somebody for 6. But if I have Poison, pretty much having Range Combat Expert does not help the fact that I have Poison. This is bad dial design, real bad. Okay, I know the idea. I know the point. It's like you're this big, huge turret, and that your opponent wants to shut you down. And to shut you down, they're going to put someone adjacent to you. But to counter that, you have Poison if they don't have damage reduction, and you have Pulse Wave. I can understand that dial design, people. But really, most of the time when people use Poison, they're being aggressive with it. They're not waiting for their opponent to dictate the terms of when and how the poison is going to be used. So there's headache number 1. Let's go to Absorb Energy. Fury can use Invulnerability. Yeah, okay. If Fury possesses this power, after an action resolves in which he took damage from a ranged combat attack, heal Fury of 1 damage. Well, let's see. I have to, A, be on this power, and B, you know, making sure that I don't get hit that hard, and C, have to be in a position to pretty much say, you know, I can heal, because there's other things that can stop you from healing. You know, such as Sabretooth and Thanos. Not Chase Thanos, but normal Thanos. I hate to say it like that. So, yeah, you've given me a power that is supposed to technically be a -3 damage without you saying it's a -3 damage. But but it has circumstances. Yeah, that's stupid. Just say you can reduce damage by 3. Or just say, you know, it ignores penetrating damage. Something. That would have been a lot better than, you know, oh, okay. Or the best that you would have said is Absorb Energy. When Fury would take damage, even if it is penetrating damage, ignore 2 of the damage. Boom. Problem solved. Or better yet, ignore 3 damage. Okay, there you go. Even that's a little bit better. And, you know, you could sort of say, like, what about Pulse Wave? Well, Pulse Wave, it is, yeah, I don't know. It might work against Pulse Wave. Who knows? So overall, let's look at our buy list from the main set. And again, this is like a tabletop display or some weirdness. So Green Lantern, Cyborg, Firestorm B, number 10, Enchantress, The Flash, Madame Xanadu, and John Constantine. Let's look at the Justice League Fast Forces, and you're going to start to see that this is almost a steaming pile of poo. Almost the same way like the Chaos War was, except for the redeeming factor of Scarlet Witch, and I can argue for that Thor on his first click. It's like the best, and maybe Mockingbird because she's hella cheap. Okay, so let's look at this really closely. First off is Cyborg. Gone is that beautiful Pulse Wave that we once knew, coming in at 75 points. No Teen Titans team ability. Star Labs keyword, which is sort of lame because he's the only one that has it. I don't know what they got planned. So, yeah. Then Leap Climb for 4 clicks, and he gets Energy Explosion for 1, Quake for 2 of his clicks, in-dial region. Alternate between Enhancement and Outwit. You're not Batman. And then for him to be in that sort of supportish role when he really, it's too much for Enhancement. So, no Indomitable. You can pass on that. There's like, unless it's a point reason, there's no reason to play that Cyborg. Ever. Unless Star Labs gets baller, and I doubt it ever will. Or Metropolis. Okay, I'll take that back. You play him on your Metropolis team. For some reason. Next up is Superman, coming in at 125 points. Now, we've had a whole lot of good Supermans relatively in the last year from the Superman set and Superman Fast Forces. This Superman, don't know why you're going to play him. Now, I'll say this. He has the knockout punch, which is sort of cool, because it says knockout punch, Superman can use charge. Okay, when he does, he breaks away automatically, which is great. Now, that part I do like. And all hit characters are knocked back 1 square after the action resolve. This is... It stacks with your Quake. Then he should have had Quake the entire time, not Super Strength. I can see the advantage, but overall I don't like this one as much. Now, 7 clicks at 125 points isn't bad. You're getting 1 more click than the 150 versions of Superman, 150 point versions of Superman. What you are missing, though, is that nice, lovely 11 attack that those other Supermans do have. And that is a big issue. You need to make sure you pack Perplex with him in support, because he's going to be eating damage. There's too much Psychic Blast running around in the meta. He's going to eat that damage. That starting Imperv is almost a waste. I hate to say it like that. And then again, WizKid's Love of Close Combat Expert is on the dial, in dial. So he can bring some pain in dial. So that's sort of cool. Next up is the Batman. Again, continuing the string of, did I really need you? And I will say, no, I really didn't need this Batman. I'll rephrase that. Detective teams might like this Batman. Gotham City teams definitely didn't need him. Justice League didn't need him, and martial arts didn't need him. Leap Climb, all dial. He has his avoid detection. When it's not your turn, lines of fire drawn to Batman are blocked unless a friendly character has taken damage this turn. So he can't be targeted for outwit, which and I'm going to say like the positives of this. He can't be targeted with outwit or ranged combat attack at all, or opponents perplexed. But it becomes really, really tough to then say, what advantage do I have from hindering terrain? Pretty much, Batman can stand out in the open and be invisible. It puts him in a whole different sphere. Because, again, lines of fire to Batman are blocked. Period. Nothing more, nothing less. He doesn't have a Batman TA, so he can get knocked off of it from a melee attack, so that's sort of interesting. But yeah, you're asking yourself, why am I on hindering terrain? You can't make a ranged combat attack against me, and Pulse Wave pretty much is worthless. So I mean, not worthless. It makes the power worthless, but being on hindering terrain doesn't help you against Pulse Wave. So interesting Batman. That trait is really good. The Batarangs, Batman can use Incapacitate as if he had 3 bolts. When he does, he ignores friendly characters and hindering terrain for line of fire purposes. That's sort of cool. It means he could just sort of snipe in-cap dudes for stealth. But other than that, I don't think he's worth 100 points. But you can play him. He's not the Batman that the Justice League deserved, but he's the Batman that they got. Oh gosh, that was just so cheesy. I apologize. That was so bad. Okay, going on to Wonder Woman. Making up for the travesty that is the main set's Wonder Woman, this is why you buy this set, this Fast Forces. Chaos War Fast Forces, you bought it for, Scarlet Witch and maybe Thor. But for this one, you're definitely buying it for Wonder Woman. Okay, and here is why. I'm gonna put you into my magical Tartarus / hybrid of the Back to the Future machine, the DeLorean. And we are going to go back, way back. Not quite Soul Train with Don Cornelius back, but we're going to go back to a time when flyers could carry flyers and that you can do actions after Taxi. Taking you back there. And here's why. Amazon Warrior, after Wonder Woman has been carried, she may be giving a non-free action. If she has not already been given one this turn. Sort of interesting. Because now she can pretty much hit you or blade you or close combat expert you from a super taxi. All of a sudden, Firestorm B seems like way more baller. All of a sudden, Lockjaw becomes that much more powerful. Okay? The pure fact that you can have your support wherever, perplex her up to whatever you want, and then just drop her down and be like, crazy Amazon chick in the house, bringing the pain. There is literally nothing your opponent can do. Definitely when she gets on that flurry click, and she gets all perplexed up and nice and shiny, and it's oh my gosh, this is broken. It's broken. It's your trait. The only thing, and I'm saying this. I'm saying this, just straight up. The only thing that they could have done better with her is just get rid of the leak climb and put in, more flurry. I know that probably would. I know that would raise the points, or replace the leap climb with like maybe another click of charge. But oh gosh, it's just ridiculously powerful. You have a Persons of Mass Destruction with this piece. Going on with her special power, Daughter of Themyscira, Wonder Woman can use combat reflexes and toughness. That's just sort of icing on the cake. It makes it so that she's a little bit more survivable late dial. But she starts with 11 attack and 3 damage, and she ends with 11 attack and 3 damage. And not just 3 damage, but 3 damage in Close Combat Expert and Flurry. Her worst click is click 4. And even then it's Flurry and Blades. Flurry and Blades. It's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I don't know what to say. Oh gosh, it's bringing tears to my eyes. You should see it. This is by far probably like the best Wonder Woman ever. Well, nope, that one from, what was it? Arkham Asylum was pretty baller too. It was a pretty good one too, but this is probably like the second best Wonder Woman ever. Or we would put into categories. This is the best, cheapest Wonder Woman that you've gotten so far in the game. There we go. All right, another figure that's going to, you know, sort of make you realize that this set has some value is the Flash. 14 movement, hypersonic speed, 17 defense, energy shield, and perplex. 125 points. He has a trait that says, I've never been touched. Yeah, let's just ignore that name. The Flash can use super senses, but evades on the result of 4 through 6. So he has super senses the entire time, so that's pretty awesome. Next is they won't know what hit him. Flash can use charge and flurry. Now that's in dial. And that's sort of a throwback to the Flash that what we had for the Starro event, which was pretty cool. Not the best ending I would want for Flash. Neither is that like 4th click. I really don't like that 4th click, that 14 defense. That's a tad low for the Flash, but it keeps him reasonable. The PDTA, I'm going to say this, and then people are going to be like, man, when are you going to let Lieutenant Gordon alone? But that police TA on him just made him probably one of the most threatening monsters for a police team. Him, some Harvey Dent, some Lieutenant Gordon. Yeah, you know what's coming. You know what's coming. A Flash that you probably will never touch the entire game. That's what's coming. And they can't stop it. You're probably not going to you're probably going to lose friends after that combo. But it's so beautiful. So beautiful. All right, moving on from my nerd dream. Green Lantern. Running shot. Yay. And we have TK at 100 points. Well, okay. Sharpshooter. Woo. Getting a little better. Getting a little better there. 18D. Willpower. Okay. Yeah. That's great. 3 damage. Okay, that's moderate. Second click, you know, you get the range combat expert, but the drop in damage. He gets some running shot, pulse wave, and willpower, and then he goes into this, hello, welcome to Construct Land, can I take your order? And then at the end, pretty much it's like the ring is trying to save my life, and he gets a little regen. He is soft, and he will be taking hits. I'm not going to lie to you. But if played solidly, which requires him to get up and run away at times, he can be threatening. Now, where he's really paying for most of his points is that Green Lantern team ability. And in Golden, if you go back to some Golden Age games, he is going to be a Green Lantern tank for the ages. because he's just going to push on to his second click and then just trick shot, running shot his way through life with a wonderful 11 attack. But pretty much you're banking a lot on him, A, not being hit, B, being in a position where there are other threats that are covering his rear, and C, you're hoping that you can set up as a secondary sniper. Now, I will say about the secondary sniper element is your primary snipers on Justice League keywords is definitely not Green Lantern. It's always like Green Arrow. Green Arrow is always your sniper. It doesn't matter what Green Arrow it is. Every Green Arrow that has been made has been a perfect sniper in some form or fashion. You should be playing Green Arrow. Okay, but if you play Green Arrow and you need more range combat expert love, yeah, this guy's bringing that for you. So that's really nice. Also, for him to be able to pick his shot more than any other figure more than most other figures in his point range is also an added bonus as well. So that's mostly it looking at the fast forces. But that's pretty much it. I think overall, I would say buy the fast forces for Justice League. I would personally trade the Superman and the Cyborg. Those are not figures that I think are valuable. But if you're a collector, you know, you're going to keep them. I don't advise buying multiples of the set, even though that Wonder Woman, she, oh gosh, she got me thinking. She got me thinking so hard on what's possible to do with that figure. Just oh my gosh, just think about, like, everyone is so conditioned to no action after Taxi that then she just pops up and it's like, hello, I technically just have done a 15 move charge. And, you know, anyway. Okay, that is mainly it for our show today. We've gone for an hour and a half. I didn't even think it was that long. Wow. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That is startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy. Good gosh, Bill O'Reilly. For those who don't know, I did debate for over 10 years of my life, and then I ended up coaching. And part of debate is listening to news media. And undergrad, I listened to so much Bill O'Reilly and so many other commentators, it wasn't even funny. So just be glad we don't have word of the day. If you have any ideas for my potentially future podcast show for HC Realms, email me. Ideas, what you want to hear, what you want to see. If you want to see my face some more, if you want to see me sit here and talk, or if you want me to be audio for them, because that may or may not be an option, depending on various factors. And we'll go from there. So just email me. If you want me to bring up a topic, email me. Definitely. I've done a couple of shows, you know, per request. So you could put TRL on this at the end of Starting Over podcast right there. Well, maybe not the L part. The T and the R, definitely. Also, speaking of live show, DC Explorer did a live show which he answered questions and whatnot. If you guys are interested in something like that on live stream, let me know. We could probably do something. Who knows? I'd have to set up like a live stream account and make sure my bandwidth is working and a bunch of other factors and when I would do it. But yeah, let me know if you want to do something, if you guys want to do something like that, and we can set it up. All right, that is it for the show. Thank you for listening. And remember, we all have to start over sometime.
Right, I said